just finishing up his game down the road, and he'll be with us in just a few moments. But week 5 of Friday Night Under the Lights, we spend the next 2 hours until midnight all across the state of Mississippi on MPB stations all across the state talking about high school football, and particularly Mississippi high school football. We're going to have reports tonight from folks all over the state. Josh West will give us a report from Tri-County. Mike Peterson from Hattiesburg, Kerry Metzler from Picayune, Jared Schatz from Germantown, Reed Vance representing Warren Central, Greg Flynn in Pearl, Ray Coleman for Clinton. We'll have Jeff Hagee, who'll give us a report on down on the coast, John Weaver from MRA, and just a host of other callers. And we'll remind you that the number to call is 1-877-MPB-RING, and that is 1-877-672-7464. 1-877-672-7464. If you'd like to call in, we've got a lot of, scheduled guests, regular guests to the show. But if you'd like to call in and give us a report on your ball game, we would love to hear from you. We'll just, to get things kicked off, look at some scores. Now, again, we're still, at least in the MHSAA, there are a lot of ball games that did not start until 7:30 tonight. That's going to continue another week, I believe, and I believe in the week of October that they'll be all starting at 7 o'clock kickoff, so we'll have a lot more final scores. But we do have some finals that I'd like to report as Russ settles in. We'll give him just a. We'll give him
gingerly set.
Yeah,
there we go.
We'll give you just a moment to kind of catch your breath there.
Good. I had to walk up 2 stairs.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Ocean Springs, they're just having a great season. They defeated Hancock tonight by the score of 42-7. Wayne County shut out South Jones 47-0. These are finals. Biggersville 53, Thrasher 6. Mendenhall 39, Collins nothing. Mendenhall's having a great season. Kosciuszko defeated Forest 42-21. It was Clarksdale 16, Charleston 6. Let's see, Taylorsville beat Enterprise 53-6. And some MAIS scores. Jackson Prep defeated Capaya, although Chris tells me, Russ, that this was a little bit closer than this score would indicate. Prep won 42-21. He says it was a little bit closer than that.
It was a lot closer than that, and I'm going to tell you what, this Capaya team is the real deal.
Yeah.
I mean, they were getting past our defense and our offense and
making a real game out of it, huh?
There's some nights you don't feel like you're going to get a real game. Tonight we did.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who else had another one. I don't know if you got the final on it, but I'll tell you that Raleigh MRA game.
Yeah, last report I have, fourth quarter, MRA was leading Raleigh 39-28, although that game has been close all night long.
MRA scored again.
Okay.
And I think it was like 42 or 43. And Raleigh had the ball. So
okay.
And
right.
We'll get to that back in a minute.
Yeah. One other. And then this was another good game that I'm sure we'll get a report from in just a few moments. But Tri-County had a barn burner really with Canton Academy. Tri-County won 48-28, but that game was kind of back and forth early on. So
wow, you wouldn't think that. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing obviously against Canton Academy, but
they've got a pretty good team. They've got a pretty good team. So anyway, let me see. Let me give you a few more partial scores. Poplarville was leading Pass Christian third quarter 42-7. Fourth quarter, West Jones was over Brookhaven 17-6. This was an interesting game. It was a second quarter score. Neshoba Central over Provine 11-6. Sounded like they scored 5 runs in the bottom of the fourth. West Lauderdale over Philadelphia 45-21. That's a third quarter score. Bogachitta was leading Puckett 27-7 in the fourth quarter. Madison Central, and this was an impressive score. Fourth quarter, Madison Central was leading Starkville 41-14.
We're going to get a report from that ball game. Matt Timms was at that ball game tonight. He's going to give us a report on that.
Okay. Second half, Brandon was ahead of Terry 35-13. That's not a final. This was a good game. Olive Branch in the fourth quarter was leading DeSoto Central 24-21. Third quarter, Morton was ahead of Pelahatchie 35-6. Last report I had, fourth quarter, Clinton was ahead of Germantown 32-10. Tupelo is beating Grenada third quarter 14-7. Third quarter, Warren Central 17, Oak Grove 17. Third quarter, Gulfport over St. Martin 14-7, and Van Cleve over Long Beach 37-17. We'll have a lot more scores as the night goes on.
Yeah, and a lot of close ones tonight.
Well, you know why?
It's full moon.
Well, that and it's district play. We're getting these are a lot of district games.
That's right.
So we're getting kind of good on good competition.
Well, and it's like, was it class 2, 3, 4 has to play this week for sure district game because there's more of them in the overall scheme of things, and that's why they have those playoff games are off just a little bit. They have to catch up at that last week.
Right. Yeah, there's some good games and good matchups, and we've had good matchups all throughout, but there's some really good ones this week.
I want to talk to you a little bit about this Raleigh MRA game. Not so much the game. Sometimes we have to on this show. We try to report everything, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. This has been a difficult week for Raleigh, and I'm going to tell you why. Their head coach, Ryan Higdon, lost his mother on Monday. And so you're thinking, man, heart's heavy. It's going to be a tough week. On Wednesday, their starting safety was driving early in the morning and ran head first into a chicken truck and was killed. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is they have to play MRA.
Yeah.
And
at MRA.
And so at MRA. So I called Coach Higdon and I said, Coach, this may not be the week to talk to us. And he said, no, I think it is. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, well, we have a coach's corner, and it's made possible by WSN Live. And I said, he said, well, you know what? He said, I really don't mind talking. I think it'd be good for the school. I think it would be good for everybody. So it's going to be one of those stories it'll be one of the harder interviews I've done in a while, but it's a story that needs to be told because the fact that they were even on the field tonight with this juggernaut known as MRA and played that close a game. Now, was that a final that you had?
No, I'll have a final in just a moment, but it's been a good game back and forth all night long.
Yeah.
And Raleigh's, not untalented. I mean, they have one of the top players in the state.
Yes, they do.
The Perkins kid, who's linebacker, running back.
Right.
Of course, MRA's got a lot of talent. So it was a really good game. We've had a lot of those tonight, but.
We also have another one on the DL tonight. Our own Joel Norris is on the DL tonight.
I hadn't really, Chris and I haven't had time. We've been the only couple here, really, Ty's here. But, Joel's not here.
No, and he's always
here, sort of.
He's kind of sitting on the steps at 5:05 in the afternoon. He's ready to get in here. But he's on the DL. He's sick tonight, but he is going to call in.
He's going to call in and
give the scores.
We're not going to be void of an 8-man report.
That's right,
for sure.
That's right. And I got stopped by probably 10 people this week.
I thought you were going to say you got stopped by the police.
No, that was last week. This week it was 10 people that said, thank you for giving those 8-man scores.
Yeah.
And said, for years and years and years, they've been playing football, 8-man, but nobody really knew.
Right.
And since Joel has taken over the Crazy Eights, everybody knows about 8-man football. And so we're sorry that Joel's not here tonight. He will be here at 11:30 through the telephone. He'll be able to give us the scores tonight, and a lot of big games in 8-man tonight, too. So pretty busy night all the way around in high school football, as you would expect at this time of the year.
Can you already believe, though, we're at week 5?
I'll tell you what, it's harder to believe.
That's about a third of the way through.
I know. But what's really hard to believe is that you've got a lot of schools that either had homecoming last week or this week.
Yeah,
we normally didn't play. No, we normally didn't play homecoming till like game 8 or 9. Somebody we knew we could beat.
I can tell you this, George. Russ did not know what week it was because the sheet he sent me said week 4, and I said no.
Well, you do notice that you're looking at the script here.
Yes.
You do notice how pretty this looks?
I noticed, but it's not what I turned into.
No,
Chris.
it's not what you turned in. But through some type of technology here, they translated that into actual something print that you could read. So,
which means your spelling isn't half bad.
No, your penmanship is terrible.
Not good. I should have been a doctor. But
well,
this was nice. Who did this? Jason
yeah.
Klein.
Yeah,
helped us out tonight.
Hey, we can actually read it. I mean, it's amazing.
Another thing I want to mention, albeit he's not a football player, when you get good stories in high school athletics, you want them to be known. And see, right. Jason's back behind the glass tonight. I haven't had a chance to talk to Jason about doing a basketball show. That's going to be later on in the year. Yeah, Jason's he just fell out of his chair. I don't know what's going on in there, but we've been asked for years to do a basketball show like this for football. But I had a chance yesterday to go to, you know who Josh Hubbard is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, everybody does. He may be the purest shooter in high school basketball I've ever seen. And there's been a lot of speculation as to where he was going to go to college. And so they bring out the table yesterday. I mean, they had the big cheerleading. I mean, they had lights and everything was nuts.
And this is in MRA.
MRA, right. Yeah. Of course, they love me over there. So anyway, I'm in the gym. and so they bring out the table, and his mom and dad are there, and 24 of his family are there. I mean, this is a big deal. Okay, he's going to announce. He's been to Seton Hall. He's been everywhere. Okay, right.
So you ready to play our 2-minute deal and then come back and finish?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play the two. This is his announcement yesterday as to where he's going to go to college, and you're going to hear it tonight on Friday Night Under the Lights.
Okay. Fans have been great throughout the years. MRA fans have been great throughout the years. The support has been crazy. I ask that you continue to support all the events and games at MRA. And last, I would like to thank and very much appreciate it for all the coaches who have recruited me throughout the years. And just want to say thank you, but I can only play from one school. So, with that being said, I will be continuing my basketball career and education at the University of Mississippi.
Well, I guess we can get the show started now. Our intern's here, so we can get. Josh Hubbard from MRA. Well, I'm telling you, one of the best basketball players I ever got to call, and he's given my team plenty of headaches over the years. So he's going to Ole Miss. And what was really funny was I got a chance to talk to Josh before they went up there to do all that.
Yeah.
And just the nicest kid in the world. And I said, look, I know I don't hold any water in this deal at all, but it sure wouldn't bother me if you put on a University of Mississippi basketball shirt. He goes, well, I can't tell you who it is. I said, Josh, I'm not going to come out here and scream and tell everybody who it is before you get a chance to. But he just kind of laughed and went down there, and it was the University of Mississippi. Yeah. So they got a good one.
Yeah. The other kid, I can't think who he is.
From prep?
No. The guard from Callaway.
Oh.
Wasn't it Callaway?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Somebody will see me. But, that'd be really interesting to see them paired up.
And then you got
guard play.
Cam Brent, who played at prep. He's also going to go.
Yeah,
he's already there.
Okay.
That's Wayne Brent's son.
Yeah.
Who coached at Jackson State and several places around here. Anyway, we don't talk a lot of basketball on Friday Night Under the Lights because there wasn't any playing tonight.
Well, there are a few basketball scores here tonight.
Yeah, but they're football games.
That's right. That's what we're going to talk about.
Wanted to run that for Josh, and we're going to be doing a piece on Josh and sending it to the website. Dr. Dave will have that on our website here in the next week or so, and you'll be able to go and check that out. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back with more of Friday Night Under the Lights in a moment.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoyed today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Hi. Unlimited data, Barry?
Ranked #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry?
Let me take your coat, you little award winner, you.
Actually, that's my fur.
Oh, be careful of the man's fur.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
That's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Get your school on the network now.
Tupelo, Cleveland. However you want. Radio, smart speaker, smartphone app. MPB Think Radio.
Somebody's at the door.
Noah. Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson here along with George Broadstreet. Chris Saxon producing in studio. Jason Klein producing for MPB Think Radio. Ty Bailey is on the phones tonight, freshly back from San Francisco. I noticed that because he had a bag of rice-a-roni in his pocket, so I thought that kind of gave it away. But Joel's down tonight. He's on the injured reserve league. So
Can I throw in just right quick?
Yeah.
Deshaun Ruffin is who I was trying to think of.
Deshaun Ruffin. Callaway.
Yeah. So, I mean, with him and Hubbard in the back court, that'll be kind of interesting, won't it?
Ooh, they'll be holding court.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, who do we have on the phone?
Ty Boyles.
Ty Boyles. They are dancing in the street tonight, not only because it's homecoming, which it was and is, but you got to win tonight, Ty, over a team in your division, correct?
Port Gibson, no, they're in Division 7, 3A.
So you guys didn't start division play until next week.
Yes, and we have Raleigh next week for division.
Ooh, and they're not going to be just in a real good mood. They got beat tonight by MRA, which is no shame in that. But let me ask you something, Ty. This what is the record of Crystal Springs right now? Because they lost an early game or two.
We are 3-2 right now.
And you know what? That's not a bad position for the teams that you've played to get here. So what? Did you throw the ball tonight?
We threw the ball and ran it.
Well, that's going to win you a lot of games. Tigers. Now, who's in the Tigers division, so that we'll know?
It is Raleigh, McLaurin, Weston, Hazelhurst, Crystal Springs, and McGee.
Ooh, that McGee team, George.
Yeah, McGee's awfully good.
They're pretty good.
Well,
They're pretty
well,
good.
Russ, this is the last time we play McGee, and because next year they'll be combined with Mendenhall.
Right. Do we know what the name of the school is going to be yet?
I've not heard anything. If I find out, I'll let you know something.
That would be great. McGee and Mendenhall are going to combine next year. So
well, actually, they both have pretty good teams.
Yeah.
So they're going to be really good.
They're going to be really good next year. But congratulations on the win tonight, Ty. And we got to get to the other phone callers, but go ahead.
And I'm going up in the morning.
We almost got hooked last week. Thanks, Ty. All right, Chris, who do we got?
We got Mike from Hattiesburg, because he wants to talk about it, because Hattiesburg got their first win.
They got their first win against a good team. Mike, when we talked earlier today, we didn't know it would turn out like this.
We definitely did not know that it was going to turn out this. And let me tell you, it feels good to be on the other side of a blowout win. Tell you what.
You've been on that other side.
I have been on that other side, and it is definitely not any fun. We won the final score tonight, 36-6. Good news tonight was we had our number one quarterback back. Coach Vance's son, Deuce Vance, came back tonight. Statistically, definitely wasn't his best game, but he's a leader, and we was able to put all of our players in the position they needed to be to win tonight.
He came back. What was his injury? Because I know he's come back a lot quicker than they thought he was going to.
Oh, at first we thought he had a separated shoulder, but it was only a sprained shoulder. So,
only a sprain. Those sprains can hurt.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
I've been on that end.
That's right. But play South Jones next week. We're going back home for homecoming. So we're 1-0 in the region, and that's what counts. Region win.
And what did we say a couple of weeks ago? We said, do not count out Tony Vance.
Do not count out Tony Vance. He knows he was in a bad situation, what the situation was, but now we getting everybody healthy. Getting everybody healthy, and we're going to try to go for 2-0 next week in the region. And Russ, let me say this. Now that I'm in Natchez and I'm about 200 miles away, your show is great. It's gonna keep me awake tonight on the way home.
That's unless I start singing. If you start singing, you better pull over the side of the road.
That's right. I will say this: on the way over here, you know, when you're on the highway, you enter certain counties. It says enter Lamar County, enter Marion County. I got one place on Highway 84 that said, enter in the middle of nowhere.
I've never seen that sign. That's pretty good. Well, congratulations, man, for the win. That's huge for you guys tonight.
It was a huge win. Like I said, we've been on the other end, started off 0-4, but got us a nice win tonight. And like I said, Russ, your show is what high school football is all about.
Well, we appreciate that, Mike, and guys like you that take time out of their schedule to give us a call and get these. We've talked about this before. Scores can be at the fingertips of just about anybody now, but the stories like tonight, knowing that the Coach Vance's son was back, that's what people want to know. They want to know how it got there. And when you call in and make your reports, it lets us know, and we really appreciate that. And we'll look forward to talking with you after that South Jones game next week.
All righty. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Peterson.
All right.
For Hattiesburg. I got this from Wayne Fleury. One of your friends there, Chris. Wayne Fleury. Homecoming for Stone County High School, the Tomcats. Another big win, 43-6. Over South Pike. Don't know if you had that story yet. Cats moved to 2-2 and open region play next week at Moss Point. So congratulations to Stone High. They beat South Pike tonight by a score of 43-6. Chris, we got anybody?
No.
Okay.
Back to scores.
Tell me again, Hattiesburg, who were they playing? Was it Natchez?
Natchez, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they were playing Natchez. He was still 200 miles from the house.
Okay, all right.
Woo! He's going to listen to the show all the way. That's another thing. We're the only show that really stays up till midnight. And, a lot of folks, they enjoy that because they travel so much, especially during the preseason. I call it preseason, but it's the season before you get into your region play. All right, you got some more scores for us.
I got some finals now. Madison Central did beat Starkville 41-21. That's impressive. That is
because Starkville's good. We know how good Starkville is. Yeah.
Clinton did beat Germantown 32-10. That's final now. Tupelo defeated Grenada 20-7. That's a final now. let's see. I think we got a few. Brandon did defeat Terry 41-13. That's final. McGee beat Yazoo City 50-7. That's a final score now. Lewisburg beat Horn Lake 15-7. Clarksdale over Charleston 16-7. Those are finals. Florence, get this one. Florence edged Laurel.
What?
28-27. Florence is putting together a nice season.
And didn't we have their coach on the beginning of the season?
We did, actually, a couple of weeks ago.
And he liked his team.
He liked his team, and it was a good interview, and we might need to get him back on because I think there's some dancing in the streets in Florence, too.
I tell you what, not in Laurel tonight. This is a Laurel team. Again, let me go ahead and stress this. Don't give up on any of these teams now. How many times have we seen a team go 5-6, go into the playoffs, and get to the semifinal game?
Or take some real tough, close losses early.
Right.
And then, kind of get it together. And because, it's really kind of different, you're high school kids, and you got sophomores, juniors, seniors, but you got some kid, you got a mixture of playing experience. And, for some kids, they may have only really started a half a dozen games.
Right.
Or hardly any. And then by the time they've played a little bit, they get better. They get better so much faster. In college, it's kind of a little bit different. Pros is completely different.
Yeah, well, you got good. You were good when you got there.
You're good when you got there. But in this, you're just really learning to play. So, the progression of the season is a lot different.
What I got to attend this week was on Wednesday, I think.
We need couple things because we're running out of time. One, telephone number, 1-877-MPB-RING. Don't forget that. And then I need you to talk to Matt Thames as we head into the break.
Okay.
Here he is.
All right. Matt, you went and saw that Madison Central game, didn't you?
Yeah, brother. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes. And we were just talking about how good a team Starkville was. Madison Central must be pretty loaded too.
They are, Russ. I believe they had an advantage on the line. They've got a good size, mature offensive line that is it's led by center number 55. Joe Corey, and he came over from JA about a year ago, and he's been doing well leading them. But they spread the ball around and scored several different ways. But their defense, every time Starkville got going, their defense had a pick six early. That was Denham Mitchell, and Denham Mitchell had one late. Jaden Johnson had a 40-yard pick six early, and then that put them up 14-7. But 14-0, and then Cortland Cooper scored on a 3-yard TD for the Jackets and got it back to 14-7. And then the Jaguars just started spreading the ball around. Glenn Singleton with a 3-yard touchdown, and Zulu Waga, the field goal kicker for the Jaguars, kicked a couple of field goals. And then Jake Norris, their tight end, he was the quarterback last year that came in for Vic Sutton and led them to the championship.
Right.
They moved him to the tight end, and they used him a lot in the Wildcat tonight, and he scored 2 touchdowns. And it was a big lead, and then it seemed like they were about to put it away, and Trey Petty, the Starkville starting quarterback, got hurt. So you pretty much thought, the game might have been over, but Jalen Ruffin comes in and starts throwing the ball all over the place. He wasn't nervous at all. He was connecting on long passes and set up a 10-yard Cooper, the running back Cooper for the Jackets, on a 10-yard run. And then late in the fourth, he threw a 41-yard touchdown that brought it to 41-21, and that was the final score.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the report. We're up against a hard break. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, brother.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community, embracing technology, empowering people, striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Get your school on the network now.
I started at 23 with nothing but me. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet. Chris Saxon producing tonight along with Jason Klein. Ty Bailey is on the phone. Noah Crow is here chasing down scores. Hey, I got something for you. Listen to this. Tomorrow here on MPB, Think Radio, at 5 o'clock, they're going to have Third Coast Radio. And if you've not heard that show, you've missed out on something. It's really neat. Kamikaze and the Cool Kids bring you local independent music from Mississippi and beyond. That's on Third Coast Radio tomorrow from 5 till 7 on MPB Think Radio. I think the best programming here at MPB is when they do their concert series and things like that. It's great stuff. And a lot of folks are talking about Third Coast Radio. So check that out tomorrow at 5 o'clock from 5 to 7 right here on MPB Think Radio.
Josh West.
Oh, Josh, this was a lot closer than you thought it'd be.
Well, this was a really, really good Canton Academy team. You know, I was watching this team on film, and I knew that they were putting up impressive numbers. Chris Hunter looked really, really good. And we were trying to gauge them against the teams they were playing, and you knew that we would have an answer very early on as to how the game would go. And so Tri-County was able to get up 7-0, and then all of a sudden give up a big play, and it's 7-6. We stop a 2-point conversion. We push it to 21-6, and all of a sudden we're in the first minute of the third quarter, and we stop another 2-point conversion to stay up 21-20. it's just nip and tuck. We're up 35-20, then we're up 35-28, and we end up pulling away late, 48-28. But Russ, this was a game when Tri-County just made big plays, had answers. Chris Hunter ran out of gas. This is a young Canton Academy team that's coming into its own. I picked in the fourth quarter Canton Academy in the 3A championship, if not winning the 3A championship. And Tri-County, they proved tonight that they're still one of the contenders in 4A. They're still a team to be reckoned with trying to repeat. They win it 48-28, 527 yards of offense. Thomas Murphy comes out, Russ, and he rushes for 201 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 8 tackles on defense.
Wow.
Bryce Warner throws for another 2 scores. He's now got over 1,000 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he's a sophomore.
And we've only played 5 or 6 games.
Only played 6 games. So, I mean, the numbers they're putting up, both teams came out of the game as healthy as they went into the game for the most part. They're going to be sore tomorrow. But Canton Academy, Tri-County, I want to give Canton Academy credit. Tri-County won for just the 4th time all-time at home against Canton Academy. They're now 4-9 against Canton Academy at home.
Wow.
No team has had more success ever against Tri-County than Canton. So this is a big win for Tri-County. It means something to beat Canton Academy. Canton Academy is now, Tri-County is 36-7 under Philip Watson. Canton Academy is 15-4 under Gage Posey. Russ, they are for real. Tri-County is for real. And both of those teams think they should be in the championship, playing for a championship in November.
Wow, that is great stuff, Josh. That is. Oh, very quickly, where does Tri-County go next week?
We're going to have a physical knockdown drag out with Carroll up in Carrollton next week. Carroll Academy is tough. Country boys. We will get Carroll's best shot next week on the road.
Yeah, they love you over there, don't they?
Yeah. Tri-County's got the bullseye everywhere we go.
That's right. Josh, thanks a lot for the call. Enjoy your football weekend, my friend.
All right, thank you.
All right. What? Sounds tough.
And now you've got Kerry Metzler.
Mr. Metzler, who I saw last night, Hines and Pearl River, and came over and played over at Hines last night. And I think, Kerry, it was the first picture that was ever taken of you and I where you actually looked like you weighed less than I did.
Trick photography, Russ.
Makeup.
Yeah, I've learned how to hold my breath for 3 minutes at a time and suck it in, as you say. Well, I'm not skinny, but I'm ahead of you right now. It's kind of like the old bear in the woods thing, I ain't got to outrun the bear, I just got to outrun you. But anyway, Russ, it was good. It's always good to see you last night. We always say this and wish we had more time together, but we don't. But it is what it is. But appreciate seeing you, my friend.
It was great. It was great.
Eli and Jason also, man, it's good to see old Russ. You remember Friday night, it was so good to see him, even though he's ugly and thin. It's always good to see him.
That had to have been Eli that said that.
Well, Eli, he's something else, isn't he?
He is. I enjoyed seeing Eli again last night. That was great.
Yeah, it was indeed. So anyway, Russ, Moonshine tonight traveled up the road, played for Central. Moonshine wins it by a score 49-7. Dante Dowdell rushed the ball for the tie tonight. He had 3 touchdowns, 4 yards, 44 yards, 46 yards, 8 rushes for 204 yards. Chris Davis, 4 rushes for 70 yards. Quick Chris also had a punt return for 46 yards. Darnell Smith, a fullback, he's been banged up. We got him back. He had 2 short runs tonight for touchdowns. Marine Tide, solid game. And they moved to 5-0. They'll go on the road next week to take on Vancouver. The Vancouver team that's unbeaten. And they were winning their region opener tonight, very big tonight down on the coast. So it'll be a good ball game next week in Vancouver, Picayune taking on the Bulldogs.
Should be, as they say in the business, a good one, and a big win for Picayune tonight. And congratulations on that win. And certainly we'll want to talk to you after that one next week.
Yeah, Russ, enjoyed the cabana last night. I I've never done a game under the banner. That was an experience last night. As I told you, I had the pontoon boat parked around back. The only thing we forgot was the smoker and the griddle, you know, the Blackstone. But other than that, we'll come prepared next time we come that way.
Chris, do you know what he's talking about? Chris is shaking his head, yes.
Chris thought. Oh, man.
He said he had a pontoon boat around the other side of the stadium over there. That was great. Hey, always good to see you, Kerry. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Love you guys.
Love you too, brother. Thanks, man.
Hey, let me throw in a couple of scores. There's two really good games need to mention. This game went to overtime. Warren Central and Oak Grove kind of back and forth all night long. But in overtime, Warren Central edges Oak Grove 42-41. That was a shootout. Hopefully, Reed Vance will have time to call us before the evening's out.
Oh, he's going to call us.
Here's another one. This is probably the shocker of the night. Will says it's the upset of the night. But Callaway really throttled Ridgeland. Ridgeland has had a great season.
Yeah.
But Callaway, 41-26 was the final. And it really wasn't, I mean, that's a 15-point margin. It was more than that earlier. But Callaway won 41-26. That's an impressive win.
And that's over Ridgeland. That's Caleb Schufeld's offense over there that's not been stopped yet this year.
Well, no, and they've had some impressive wins, Ridgeland has. So, anyway, just we'll hear about that one some more, I'm
Absolutely.
sure.
Of course, no one calls from Callaway. They should, but they don't.
No.
But we do want to tell everybody the phone number is 877-672-7464. You may have never called the show before.
Right.
But if you want to, get in there and get in line with everybody else.
Well, and you have our regulars, and which
Right.
we appreciate them, and they bring us kind of a unique perspective. But we always like to hear from different people that we haven't heard before.
Absolutely. All right, Chris, who do we have?
Harold to talk about Pearl versus Petal.
Oh, Harold.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Harold, that was going to be a bust-up ball game. Who came out on top of that deal?
Well, let me tell you guys, I'm traveling from that ball game tonight, getting chauffeured by Josh's wife. We all three got together and come up here to watch that ball game. So we get chauffeured back to the house, and Petal come out on the losing side tonight to the Pearl Pirates 25-21.
Good game. Now, Pearl's had a kind of an up and down season, but then so has Petal.
Yeah, and we had one of our running backs is out. I think Brian Poole had toe turf. I didn't know if they wanted me to say anything. The staff, great staff of coaching, and it was just it was a good ball game. But Petal was up at the half, and then just looked like I don't know if it was just falling apart or what. But guys, football's football. It's going to be there, and I'm telling you, it was a great game to go up and see. To actually go to Pearl and look at the stadium up there at Pearl High School.
It's nice, isn't it? It's a nice stadium.
Yes. Yeah, it is a real nice stadium. And, and it was good to go up there. But, now we're 0-1 in the division. We're just where the other team coming to Petal next week is. So I'm telling you, that's going to be a good barn burner right there next week.
Well,
will be the Petal Panthers in Oak Grove.
And Oak Grove's not going to be in a good mood. I can tell you that right now. They got beat by Warren Central tonight.
And Russ, I can tell you right now, it don't look like Petal's going to be in a good mood either. Hey, Meridian will take on Pearl next week. I'm telling you guys, this is a division. And it's just like Coach Glenn said, this is the SEC West of high school.
That's saying a lot.
SEC West. This is it, buddy, because you have got some of the finest teams in the state, especially Brandon, which I don't even want to know, but they probably tore Terry up.
They did. They did.
So
but
I didn't even, and I don't know about Northwest Rankin, bless their heart, but, there are good quality ball clubs in this league on the coast, and I've got to do all my work tomorrow night with Coach Glenn and staff, but it's just amazing how they get out and they play ball to their heart's content, guys. I mean, it's just awesome.
Well, I will tell you this. Last night, Northwest Rankin won 29-27. And so that whole division, high school football is at its best, Harold, and we appreciate your report every Friday night. We got to run. We got a lot of folks to get on, but keep it between the lines. Get home safely.
All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all next week.
All righty. Thanks so much.
I got Chris on the phone. Let's talk about the Brandon Terry game.
Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? I missed you last week.
Well, I mean, luckily, we get bye weeks every now and then, but I kind of wish it was later on in the season. So,
Well,
hey, it was a much-needed bye week.
Yeah.
We will say that.
Well, I was driving past Brandon High School today, and it was like 5 o'clock. Chris, people were going in to get ready for this football game. There's a bunch of tents in one end zone. What an atmosphere it is over there, Brandon.
Oh, it's an outstanding atmosphere, and it's second to none, especially around this area. But it's homecoming, of course, so that's why you probably had the traffic real early. So it's funny because you had everybody leaving the game, and then you had a longer line of cars getting back into the school as we were leaving because the dance was tonight there in the courtyard of the high school. So big atmosphere tonight at Brandon to open up region play. 41-13 was your final. Terry, much improved team. Chris Collins has got that team on the up and in now. So I mean, it was definitely a battle early. Brandon was able to pull away late.
Well, another night at the office for the Bulldogs. They're on a mission. Who do they have next week?
There, Russ?
I said, who do they have next week, Brandon? I must have lost him.
I'm here. I got you. Sorry, I cut out. I was in Pearl. I cut out.
Where do the Bulldogs play next week?
Well, we just talked about that game ending in overtime. The Bulldogs do travel over to Warren County. We'll play Warren Central. So, we just said how tough this region is, and Brandon's going to have a true test. They play at Warren Central, who I'm not sure how that game ended out. I know it was 42-41 at one point in time. It was 10-0 Oak Grove. They fought back and forth. I was kind of keeping up with it a little bit. But right after that, they have Peto at home, and then they go on the road to Oak Grove and Meridian. So Brandon's about to get that true test coming up. But, first things first is going to be Warren Central. And Warren Central's not an easy place to play at all.
No.
And Brandon's always had trouble over there. So, it's going to be a fun atmosphere next week.
Yeah, George and I have spent many rough evenings over at Warren Central. They did come out and win tonight in overtime. Yeah,
42-41 we did see. So, that kind of sets, that early precedence in the region. You got Brandon and, of course, Warren Central winning. So, still a long way to go. A lot of football left to play. Good thing is everybody came out healthy this week.
Yep.
Everybody seems to be back from last week. Something a little bit differently, and I'll let y'all go, is something Jake and I talked about before the game. Was that the passing game? 315 yards passing for Landon Barnes, three touchdowns. So they didn't really have to run the football a lot tonight. So they only had 85 yards rushing, which is kind of different for their normal Brandon team the past few years. So able to mix it up a little bit, kind of in that offense, it's up tempo as Sam Williams is.
Yeah.
You throw that passing game on top of it with the running game. It makes Brandon a pretty tough team to beat. So, we'll see what happens. Again, a lot of football up to play.
Yeah, what a great hire that was for Sam Williams to get over there at Brandon. Chris, thanks so much, man. Enjoy your football weekend.
I absolutely appreciate what all y'all do, guys. We'll talk to y'all later.
All righty. Hey, if you're listening to the show tonight in the Greenwood area, be sure to look at WMAO. That is is that the O? It's not a Q, it's an O, right? Yeah, Jason let me know it's an O. Up in the Greenville area, and you're able to pick up the show. I just tell people to go as far as they can to the left and just hit scan, and they'll find it somewhere.
Yeah, that is sort of the beauty of it, because you can just sort of, you can find it. It's
Yeah,
going
it's
to be
there.
there somewhere.
It's there.
Yeah.
And we're also on Roku, Fire Stick, Facebook, YouTube, wherever.
Matchbook, whatever.
Matchbook.
Okay, Russ, we've got, when we come back from break, we'll have Eric Smith, Jared Schatz, and Greg Flynn.
Very good. Jared's going to talk about that Germantown game, which they lost tonight. And then, of course, Greg got to be flying higher than a kite. We'll take a time out. Be back in a moment.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run, and your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Unlimited data, Barry?
Rank #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry?
Let me take your coat, you little award winner, you.
Actually, that's my fur. Oh, be careful of the man's fur.
You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
That's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Brodsky. By the way, at the top of the hour, we'll have all the scores for you that have come in to our studio. So, Chris, we've got full phones right now. Let's get to them.
Okay, here is Eric Smith.
Eric, we didn't know how many games Richland's Rangers were going to win this year, but you know what? Tonight was a big one.
Let me tell you, JJ took over this program 2 years ago. We went to Pisgah, and we got handled, physically whipped, and like I told you, we got a young team, and tonight the embrace between me and him was they don't physically whip Richland no more, even with our young guys. They do not physically whip Richland anymore, not Pisgah.
That's because you can't whip J.J. Plummer.
Well, it's hard to get him down, but let me tell you this. I've been forgetting to tell you, with one of the youngins we got coming, we have the next Ragsdale in line on that throne for the...
You got a Ragsdale?
We got a Ragsdale, young Preston Ragsdale, and he got in the end zone tonight for a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. He's getting there.
Now, is he related? No, I think they're all related. I mean, is he related to any of them?
He's from, his dad went to Pisgah,
yep,
and he married a Richland gal, and they reside here in Richland, and we just proud to have old Preston and his daddy Doug and his mama Renata back down here, and we got two more years after this still to watch him develop. So he ought to be getting up there. Hey, did I tell you Florence took took Law down tonight?
I mean by 1 point, 28-27. And you remember, you helped me get that Florence coach on, I think it was the first week of the season, and he got on and he told us, he said, I like my football team this year, and hey, that's a big win for them tonight.
I'm telling you, look, I went and seen them when they played South 4A State at Poplarville that year with Pruitt as coach, and Rod Davis's group is the best-looking Florence team I've seen, and I've been in Southwest Rankin for 30 years.
Well, it's exciting football, and it's good to see those teams, come in and do well. And, I think you're looking, like you say, with a good Richland team here in the years to come. We got to run. Eric, we got a lot of folks got to get on, but really, really thank you so much for giving us the update on this, and go Ragsdale.
There you go, man. Go Ragsdale, go Rangers. We'll see you, buddy.
Thanks, brother. We appreciate it. All right,
Russ,
Chris.
Greg Flynn.
Oh, Greg, you knew the Pirates were going to break out of this thing sooner or later, and they did.
Russell, how are you, sir?
We are good tonight. Not as good as you, but good.
No, we're pretty good. I mean, it was fun to watch the kids really finally have things come together for them. They're so super young, and to beat a very good pedal team coming in.
Yeah.
By 4 points, 25-21, the defense for the Pirates is absolutely lights out. They forced 7 turnovers, 5 interceptions of Del J. Bailey, who was a very good quarterback, and stripped him twice. So 7 total turnovers was really, really something.
But 5 picks?
Yeah, 5 picks.
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look in a record book, Greg, but I don't know of too many teams that have done that in this state in a game.
It was so weird because they were decent passes, but it was a lot of those where they were thrown so hard that it bounced off the receiver up in the air, and then there was a couple he threw right to the defenders, but it was just because he was pressured, and it was just a really, really fun thing. They always talk about don't judge a team by its preseason.
Correct.
Everything starts over in region play. Petal came in with a 3-1 record. Pearl came in with a 1-3 record. But tonight, Pearl's in first place after winning, and now they're 1-0.
Wow, that's the great thing about high school football. And you want to play those tough teams on the first part of your schedule because it gets you ready for region play.
Well, and for somebody like Pearl, even with teams that were not, fantastic, playing a South Pike and a Morton,
right,
Ridgeland and Biloxi, it just gives the kids a chance to get reps against somebody else. And, it'll be interesting to see how it goes the rest of the way out. But, man, those kids were motivated, and it's fun. It's fun because they're so young. Jack Durr, don't ever forget that name, freshman quarterback. When we're talking again on this show, God willing, we're still here. He's probably going to be one of the best in the state. So,
wow.
That's just remember Jack Durr.
Jack Durr. Hey, we're going to run, Greg. We got a lot of folks who are going to get on. Thanks so much for the call. Congrats on the win. Very quickly, where do the Pirates go next week?
Over to Meridian.
Ray Stadium.
Yes, and
good luck.
Well, no, we ain't gonna. No, yeah, we ain't gonna go there. There's a lot of X factors about getting back and forth from Meridian. So
yes, there is. Hey, Greg, have a great weekend, my friend.
All right, you too, dude.
All right, man. Thanks. All right, Jared Schott's going to talk about the Mavericks. Jared, can't figure this team out right now.
Yeah, guys, good to talk to you. We knew coming into the season with Coach Russ Mitchell coming in, he's totally different philosophy as far as offense goes. And he doesn't. We've got some nice pieces, but he doesn't quite have the athletes that he did at Oak Grove. And they took one on the chin tonight, 32-10. It was 17-7 at halftime in favor of the Arrows. We kicked an onside kick to start the second half. We got it. Drove down, settled for a field goal, and I think it just made Clinton mad, so they went on to win 32-10. And I'll say this, that was the most deceiving 1-2 record in the state of Mississippi for the Arrows coming in. Because if you look at their schedule, they beat Northwest Rankin, but they played a top 5 team in Ocean Springs to start the year.
Right.
Yeah, and then you play a team
Brandon.
Like Brandon.
Yeah.
You give Brandon all they want, and I see why, guys. They are one of the biggest teams I've seen in high school football in a long, long time. They've got a defensive tackle, TJ Spann. Listen to this. He's a junior. He's 6'4", 330 pounds. And these guys are they're long, rangy, they're big, they're fast, and I'm telling you, Clinton's going to be one of those teams in District 2. If they can get more comfortable with their offense, they're going to make a lot of noise, and just keep an eye on the arrows. Everybody kind of counted them off earlier in the year, but they'll be just fine.
Totally different when you get into region play. Hey, Jared, we got to run, but thank you for your call, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next week.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
All righty. That's going to bring the first hour to a close. George is on deck with which is pretty much all the scores. Noah's chasing some others down. We'll take a timeout. Friday night under the lights made possible tonight by Malone Roofers, who wants us to let you know that they are also residential roof repairs and people that put roofs on residentially. We'll be back.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoy today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Unlimited data, Barry?
Ring #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry.
Let me take your coat, you little award winner, you.
Actually, that's my fur. Oh, be careful of the man's fur.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
That's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Get your school on the network now.
Welcome back to the fastest 2 hours of sports talk radio in the state, and it's all on MPB Think Radio. They gave me this a while ago before we lead with George on the scores, but I want to read it again. Tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, you want to listen for Third Coast Radio. A lot of folks talking about that show. Kamikaze and the Cool Kids bring you local independent music from Mississippi and beyond. Third Coast Radio tomorrow, 5 until 7 on MPB Think Radio. All right, George, let's go through the scores.
All right, we're just going to take them as we have them written down here. Oxford defeated Murrah tonight, 43-8. Ocean Springs over Hancock, 42-7. All these are I'm giving you our finals. Florence over Laurel, 28-27. Callaway upset Ridgeland, 41-26. It was Poplarville 42, Pass Christian 7. West Jones over Brookhaven 24-6. Neshoba Central defeated Provine 38-20. It was in overtime. overtime, 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 overtime. Time, overtime, 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 overtime.
You may want to keep an eye on that coming off of I-20.
I'll be sure and send the mileage bill on to you guys.
Go right ahead. You went right past the exit. Hey, thanks, Reed. We appreciate it, bud.
You bet. Y'all have a good night.
All righty. Okay, Chris.
Tommy Barnett with JA.
You know, Tommy, so many things were said about the MRA Raleigh game this week, and a lot of things were said about Capaya and Prep because Capaya hadn't lost a game. And lost in all of this was the Raiders, who are really, starting to come into their own offensively. What did they do tonight, and who did they do it to?
Well, Russ, tonight we hosted Phil Academy, homecoming there in the Brickyard. So the festivities were, were big and extravagant. But, last week was a defensive slugfest. Tonight, defense was optional.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, both teams, Russ, combined for a total of 747 yards, 70 points, and Jay won the game 42-28. And so after 747 yards, 70 points, and 3 hours of football, we came away victorious over Phil Academy 42-28.
A lot of people talked to me over the week, and I'm not sure it was last week, maybe the week before, when you talked about that young man that's playing on the defensive line that's a 9th grader.
Yeah.
Tell me about him.
Yeah, Darion Albert, been at Jay, I think this is now his 3rd year, came over in 7th grade, Russ, and really had a lot of height, really as a future left tackle. Moved him up to the high school team this year, playing at the kind of the 3 technique on the defensive line, and he's just a wrecking ball. Leads the team in tackles for loss, really good with his hands, and his future meal ticket for us is as a defensive tackle. There will be teams salivating when this man becomes the team.
That's what I'm hearing. And a lot of folks said they heard you talking about him, and they wanted to know more about him. So I'm glad that we got to hear that tonight. Now the Raiders obviously heading into district play. Do they know who they are yet? Do they know And I don't say that ugly. I was just saying because you've had, like you said, defense one week, not the next. Offense one week, not the next. Do they know who they are yet?
Tonight, I'm not sure exactly what Pillow's going to be, but Russ, J.A. tonight decided they wanted to run the ball, and they did. 46 carries, 370 yards. And if you quick math, that's over 8 yards a pop. We had two backs go over 100 yards by the early third quarter, and we finished the game three backs. The third one was 10 yards shy of going over 100 yards himself. And I don't know that has ever been done in school history.
I can't remember when it has been. You'd have to go back. This is going to date me a little bit, but you'd have to go back to the Corey McGee days for that.
Yeah, I'm thinking Corey McGee, or when you had the Jew brothers that were
Nicholas.
Back
Yep.
to back.
Uh-huh.
Of course, now I'll tell you, the one kid for Pillow tonight that jumps off the field, just Dane Sanford. Russ, he touched the ball tonight 32 times in either running or catching, and he had, 29 times, 227 all-purpose yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Good grief. Does sound like defense was optional.
Senior, he's really good.
Wow. Well, okay, so next week for you guys?
Greenville Christian.
And now, you may confirm this. I don't know if you know or not, but I had heard that they went out and got some more MHSAA players, like 15 of them, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Have you heard anything about that?
I did hear that they hit the transfer portal, and we will find out this time next week.
Ooh. Well, I know they're a different team than what we saw in the first game of the year for the Patriots, but that game's at your place?
It is. We actually have Greenville Christian next week, and then to wrap up a 4-game straight homestand, we have Hartfield after that, and then pretty much we finish up the rest of the year in conference play.
Yeah, and we're going to have Joseph Craven from Hartfield on this hour to talk to us about the Hawks, so you may want to hang around and listen to that. Hey, Tommy, thanks a lot for that info. Congratulations on the big win, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next week.
Thank you, Russ. Y'all have a great weekend, bud.
You too, man.
Okay, we're going into the break, and we'll have John Weaver of MRA and Joseph Craven of Hartfield when we come back.
Sounds good. We'll be back for Friday night under the light.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community, embracing technology, empowering people, striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Get your school on the network now.
Dr. Dave says it's 30.
Is that right?
And if Dr. Dave says it,
if he says it, it's the truth.
By the way, he said when he was in the bunker last week, it was 45 degrees.
Oh, yeah, and he was in the bunker in Boonville when they made that shocking last-second win over Troy.
He went crazy.
I mean,
and then, of
was-
course,
that
the
was
week before
ridiculous.
they won in the
Yeah,
last minute.
I know.
So just break them up. I mean,
whatever.
break up Appalachian State.
Okay, Russ, it's Joseph Craven from Hartfield.
All right, Joseph, I've been waiting to talk to you. Everybody in the whole central Mississippi area wants to know what's going on with Hartfield, and I tell them I don't know because Joseph hasn't called. And now, we all know how good the team was last year. We know the kids. By the way, I did a junior college game the other day that Xavier was in. Xavier Davis was
Oh,
in.
yeah.
And looked good like he did when I saw him for 2 games. 2 long nights, I might add. But
I remember those nights
bet
very
you
fondly.
do.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I got out of there early because I said I don't want Joseph to talk to. I don't want to talk to him. All right, tell me about the Hartfield team first of all this year as a whole, because you got some kids in and you lost some kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, besides Xavier Davis, you're also talking about a handful of key offensive linemen who graduated or left, especially Xavier's JUCO teammate Melvin Collins, who was an outstanding offensive guard who's now up at Northwest as well. So, lost a lot. But I tell you what's really interesting about the Hawks this season is that the depth at the skill positions is definitely the best it's been. And I can say in school history because we only have 11 years of history. So it
doesn't take long to go back and see it,
Yeah, exactly. But, like, tonight we went up against Lamar School from Meridian and the wide receivers. I mean, a sophomore wide receiver by the name of Kenzie West showed out with the most casual one-handed catch I think I've seen in a while. Full stride, reached out one hand, brought it in, ran it 40 more yards into the end zone like it was nothing. And that's kind of the story of this team right now, is that there's just a lot more depth than last season. I don't know if the top-level talent matches maybe what you got out of Xavier Davis last year, but the depth is the storyline, Russ. It really is.
Well, and you had some really good skilled people last year, but you're right. I saw them get tired, but they still played to the end. Your quarterback is gone. He's a good one. He was a good one. But as far as you can see, Joseph, on this MAIS schedule, who do you see giving you the most problems?
PCS 2 weeks ago?
They gave you a lot of problems. That's true. I was stunned. I was stunned when I saw that score.
Yes, no, same here. We've talked a lot about it since then, and it's kind of a head scratcher looking back as to how the Hawks just could not find any rhythm. And again, I mean, I said it 2 weeks ago, but I said it now. I mean, it's full credit to PCS for playing an outstanding game plan, and they were very prepared for it. Now, that being said, I mean, from everything that I'm understanding about 6A and the MAIS this year, and from our coaches and from other people, there's everyone seems a little bit closer to each other.
Parity.
A lot more parity than the last few years. So that makes it very interesting because it does mean, hey, Hartfield has an opportunity to try to repeat making it to the state championship game.
Yep.
But it also means at any point PCS can come in, play a great game, and pull off the upset like they did 2 weeks ago. So it's very interesting because I feel like it'd be difficult to look at the remaining district games and really think that there's anyone that both stands out as an easy win or a definite loss. There's a lot of parity.
Well, and I'll give you a great example, Joseph, and I'll let you go because we've got a lot of folks on. Prep played Copiah tonight. I'm going to tell you what, that's one of the best Copiah teams I've ever seen. There's not many of them, but I'll tell you, their defense spent most of the time in the Prep backfield tonight. So it was a good game, 35-14 Prep, but I'll tell you, that someone's going to have to deal with the Copiah team. They're that good. They got a quarterback named Albright. How he got rid of that ball and got it to some people is just beyond me. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a good league. And I just kind of get the feeling that when all the dust settles, you're going to see the Hawks around somewhere in there. Hey, Joseph, thanks so much for your call.
Wait a minute. What was the final of that game?
Yeah, what was the final of your game?
That one was 38-7. Lamar was able to get a touchdown towards the end of the fourth after running clock had already started up.
Right.
It's a stout performance from the Hawks. But I tell you what, do want to give credit as well to Lamar and first-year head coach, Jacob Land over there. You could tell he's getting them in a good position. They executed well, just kind of couldn't finish some drives, and that's why the scoreline looked the way it was. So 38-7 was the final.
You're exactly right, Joseph. I couldn't have said it any better. I love Jacob Land. I love the coaching that he does, and they love him over there at Lamar, and just tip of the hat to him for what he's doing over there. Joseph, thanks so much, bro. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, sounds great. Looking forward to it.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay, Russ, we're going to have John Weaver, MRA, Jeff Hagee from the Coast, and Granny. But here is John Weaver.
While we're talking to John, would you reload up what we played on for MRA at the beginning of the show? I don't know if you can roll that back or not, but you should be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I want John to hear that. John Weaver joins us now. John, you got a heck of a football game out tonight with a Raleigh team whose hearts are very heavy. You had a lot of storylines running through this ball game. Let's see. But before we get going, I was at the top of the show talking about Josh Hubbard, and I was able to go over yesterday and see the signing and everything, and just a class kid, and he handled it well. He thanked the people he needed to, and I had a chance to talk with him before all that, and I said, look, I don't have a vote in this thing, but boy, if you had an Ole Miss shirt on, it really wouldn't hurt my feelings. And he laughed, and he said, I'm not going to tell you who I said, well, Josh, I'm not going to stand up and tell everybody where it is, but, he wanted to tell it, and that's good. Do we have it lined up?
MRA fans have been great throughout the years. The support has been crazy. I ask that you continue to support all the events and games at MRA. And last, I would like to thank and very much appreciate it for all the coaches who recruited me throughout the years, and just want to say thank you, but I can only play for one school. So with that being said, I'll be continuing my basketball career and education at the University of Mississippi.
Wow. So Hubbard's headed to Ole Miss, and what a afternoon that was. Jacob, his father and mother were there. You were there. You gave all the stats. What a great time that was for MRA yesterday.
It was loud. It was loud. Josh is a special human being and young man. He's got a very bright future. It's only getting started. But my goodness, what a talented athlete, what an unbelievable young man, and we're so blessed to have him wearing these MRA Patriots colors. So.
Well, I'll tell you, you played a team tonight, John, and you and I talked about this earlier in the week. I don't know if I could ever remember a situation where a school was playing another one where the hearts were so heavy for multiple reasons, and we're going to talk to their coach tonight, Ryan Higdon, in the coach's corner, which you helped me set up with that. But again, very quickly, he lost his wife on Monday, and he his mom. He lost his mom on Monday. Lost his starting safety on Wednesday, 2 deaths.
Right.
Had to play the number one team in the MAIS, which is you guys. That's a tough week in anybody's calendar, and you went over there, and the game lived up to it.
Yeah, I'm going to start real quick by just thoughts and prayers still out to the Raleigh family. I got a chance to speak to Floyd, his dad. He actually spoke to our team after the game.
Wow.
He came and just thanked us for the ceremony we did for Isaiah, the stickers that both teams wore for Isaiah. Just a heartfelt moment. Anytime, I told you this, I think, when you were here for Josh's thing, coaches in the community, like in this fraternity, we feel like they're all our kids. We're in the kid business, and anytime this happens, it's gut-wrenching to any coach, to any father across the metro and even across the Magnolia State that happens. It hits you home, where you go home and you hug your little ones a little bit tighter. You hug your teammates a little tighter.
Yep.
It's that kind of thing. But to the game, have you ever been to Six Flags?
Yeah.
It was the Goliath, if you're familiar with that roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
It was a roller coaster of a game, and we jumped out 17-0, and they return a kickoff. Actually, they returned 2 kickoffs tonight. And it was back and forth. Herbert, at halftime, he was like, we have 3 first half turnovers. I was like, 3 second quarter turnovers. So it's just a weird game. Emotion, and everything bottled up. But look, they were the number 1 in Little 10. They were number 1 team in 3A, and they are all that cracked up to be and more. They don't just have number 4, Perkins. Yeah. They have about 6 of them.
Wow.
They're unbelievable. That is a well-coached team. Coach Higdon, my goodness, from what he went through this past week and got them ready.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, John, we're up against a break. We're going to have Coach Higdon on at 11:45, so stick around for that. Next week, I think you got a pretty good game lined up for next week.
I think so. I think come to Old Kent Road a little bit. You bring some Patriots from across the river over there, across the water. Y'all come over here. So it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun week.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks, John.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother.
John Weaver from MRA. We're going to take a timeout. Crazy Eights up next.
Tonight's Friday Night Under the Lights is made possible by Malone Roofing. At Malone Roofing, we're more than just roofers. More information at ecmalone.com.
Are we on the air?
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Kamikaze.
This is Drian Santana. This is Kayla Renee.
And this is House of Morris. Tune your radios to
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community. Embracing technology. Empowering people. Striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Get your school on the network now.
I started at 23 with nothing but me. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet. Glad to have you in with us tonight as we have 30 more minutes on this show. And Jeff Hager is calling in from the Gulf Coast, who's got a lot of football being played down there this year, Jeff, and a lot of it's good.
It is good. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're good. We're good. Weather's perfect down there, I assume.
That was the case tonight. We were glad to have it. I guess, like second day of fall, and it was kind of feeling like it.
I know. You might think the fair was in town or something. All right, so what went on down there tonight?
Well, believe it or not, it seems like the first time ever I was not in an Ocean Springs game, but they did pour on 28 third quarter points after only leading Hancock 7-0 at halftime. So the Hawks kind of holding their own at home there for a while, but obviously Ocean Springs is a wagon. Obviously, there's no real way to put it.
Right.
And Dante Dalzell looks like he only had 9 carries tonight, but still got him 220 yards and some change. So 3 more touchdowns. I mean, the talent here is unbelievable. Caden Irving out of Goshen. I know I talked about him, the quarterback, a lot. He had a birthday today, actually, and Goshen got the best of George County, 49-21. So what you're starting to see, though, I think are a lot of these teams starting to separate themselves. I mean, Ocean Springs undefeated. Van Cleve is an interesting team. They're undefeated. East Central, I mean, you got teams kind of starting to – I know it's only one weekend to district play, but the teams that were supposed to win tonight, for the most part, all of them won. The matchup I was at first was Harrison Central Pascagoula. A lot of emotion in that game for Pascagoula. One of their players involved in a motorcycle accident last weekend, and so they had his jersey. He's getting treatment in Mobile as we speak, I guess. So hopefully, thoughts and prayers with him and his family and that team. And so probably kind of some heavy hearts there, but they lost to Harrison Central at home 44-31, and you might kind of, 7 weeks from now, you might point to that game as to, like, if one of those teams gets in over the other, it's like, man, those week one games in district really, really matter. And,
yep.
Maybe, just like the coaches say, the next game is the most important game, and I guess, if coach speaks, they say it because it's true. So.
Well, you go back to that stat. I had to go to my my calculator. 220 yards, 9 carries. Jeff, that's 24 yards every time he touched the ball.
So I actually saw this. He posted this on his own Twitter. This is where I saw this, and I'm going to pull it up again. He had 9 rushing attempts for 228 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, whatever that math is, I guess you were probably spot on about that.
Well, actually, since you gave me the more yardage, it's 25.3 yards per carry. That is that's unbelievable. Any upsets down there tonight?
Well, I was just kind of looking into that. I mean, you could call it one based on their past success over the last few years. Biloxi getting the best of D'Iberville, 34-27, and D'Iberville, they only returned 1 returning starter this year because they had 35 seniors last year, and so obviously, a lot of new guys have to step up, and there's some good players, but I guess Gage Peterson, the quarterback, is the only returning starter from last year. So Biloxi is the team, they're going to be right there in that playoff mix now with that win. And so that was, I'm not going to call it an upset, but it was definitely one of those scores you look at and say, man, like, this district really got interesting because the last few years you kind of penciled the Iberville in for 5 or 6 wins.
Oh, yeah.
And now, there's going to be a lot of 3-4, 4-3 teams outside of Ocean Springs, and I think Gulfport really has a chance. They won 21-7 over St. Martin. I think Gulfport has a chance to go 6-1. And I mean, if any team is going to upset Ocean Springs, I think right now it could be them. And a little bias here, but my alma mater, St. Stanislaus, looks like they had a barn burner of a win there for the Battle of the Crab Trap against Rival Bay High. Getting that done.
The Battle of the Crab Trap?
That's what it is.
Well, that rivals the Possum Bowl.
It does. And big games in the year. The battle for the Crab Trap. That's pretty good. You're right about Gulfport, though. I mean, they lost that game. A lot of people writing them off. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
meaning you look at them. I mean, they lost to Picayune, but Picayune, I know they're 5A, but they are that good. They could go toe to toe with anybody in the state. And, Gulfport hung right there with them, and I think they're just as solid as almost anybody down here, if not, in this part of the state.
Well, Jeff, we appreciate that roundup down there on the coast, and we've got a lot of folks that listen to MPB, down there, and they want to get these scores down there, and you provide those for us, and we do appreciate that. MAN is the station that folks listen to the Scoreboard show down there, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and making sure that we know what happens down on the coast. And tell you something else, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave it here. I wouldn't count out D'Iberville either.
No, absolutely not. They're
Yep.
as well coached and well run as any program down here.
I agree. Jeff, have a great weekend, my friend.
Yeah, you guys too. We'll do it next Friday.
Sounds good. Thanks, bro.
Need to talk to Granny real quick,
Okay.
and then we need to go to Joel with the Crazy Eights.
Absolutely. Granny, what you got this week?
How you doing, Russ?
We good.
I was at Heidelberg tonight. Heidelberg and Northeast Lauderdale. It was 21-6 at halftime. Heidelberg was winning, but here's where it got interesting at. It was in the fourth quarter. Northeast Lauderdale looking for any way they can to get back in the ball game. They intercepted the ball on a tip ball, like a tip drill.
Mm-hmm.
They run it back for a touchdown, so it's 21-13. And then they kick off. They do the onside kick, and they recovered it. But it didn't go 10 yards, so they had to redo it. They had to redo the kick. And Squibb kicked it in. They got it, and Heidelberg got it at the 5-yard line, and he run it back 95 yards for a touchdown.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's right. And it wound up 27-13. But Heidelberg, they run 2 kickoffs back for touchdowns tonight.
Well, and they're working on a new head coach down there. He came in, I think, the second week of the season. And we're kind of keeping an eye on them. They're not a bad football team, but that's tough for Northeast Lauderdale to give up those touchdowns like that. Granted, we got a lot of folks on the phone we want to get to. Thanks for letting us know, because a lot of people wouldn't know about that game if you hadn't called.
Yeah, hey, man, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Granny. We appreciate it, man. That is Brian Grantham. We know him as Granny.
Here is Joel Norris to talk about Crazy Eights.
That's the lower-voiced Joel Norris, the new and improved Joel Norris, who has Crazy Eight scores for us. All right, read them off there, big boy.
Reading them off. Here we go. Coming off the injury reserve, like you said, Russ. We have North Sunflower Academy defeated Marvel Academy 58-14. They continue to roll. We have Christian Collegiate Academy defeated Hillcrest Christian 44-12. And again, these are some high-scoring scores, but, not really surprising scores, Russ. We had Manchester bouncing back after losing to North Sunflower last week. They defeated Humphreys Academy 45-12. We had Newton County Academy defeating Discovery Christian 41-0. We had Franklin Academy defeating Union Christian Academy 68-22. We had Deer Creek, the surpriser that I said last week in 1A. They defeated Briarfield Academy 28-14. Lee Academy defeated Hebron Christian Academy 49-8. We had an upset, probably the only surprising upset tonight. Wilkinson County Christian Academy in the rebuilding year, they defeated Porter's Chapel Academy 36-32.
Ooh.
Tunica Academy defeated Calhoun Academy 46-16. Tallulah Academy and Prairie View Academy, a game that I said in 2A was going to be a barn burner. It ended up being a barn burner for Tallulah Academy. They get the win tonight, 62-32 against Prairie View. Tensas Academy defeated Benford Christian 54-28, rebounding after that loss to Riverdale last week. Tensas win 54-28. DeSoto defeated Columbus Christian 60-32, and then finally we have Prentice Christian continuing to roll. They defeated Kemper Academy 40-0.
Joel, you're going to appreciate this. I was at the deal for MRA yesterday, as Josh Hubbard announced where he was going to go to college. But Termy Land, who is He's the headmaster at MRA. He turns around to me during that pep rally and says, in his senior year, are you ready for this? His senior year, he graduated and they won the state championship was North Sunflower.
North Sunflower. And it's looking like North Sunflower may be on their way back.
That's what he said. That's what he said. He said they could win it this year.
They are undefeated. They've had pretty solid wins against Manchester. They look like the strong favorite in 2A. And in 1A, I would say it's a toss-up between Riverdale and Tensall right now.
Where's Tensall located?
They're in Louisiana. I cannot think of the city. I know they're in Louisiana. There's a lot of schools in 1A that are from Louisiana.
Right. But there's still a part of Mississippi's MHSA or MAIS, whichever the MAIS, which they're going to be in. They're a part of that, even though they're out of state. Correct?
That is correct. Even though they're out of state, because there's no Division for 8 man in Louisiana, so and it's close to Mississippi anyway.
Right. It's just right across the river. All right. What are your games that you're looking at next week that would say be your marquee game?
My marquee games for next week would probably be Manchester going up against. They have Marble next week.
They got Marble. Okay.
Marble. They did win. They did come up on the losing end tonight, but I think Marble, since it is Manchester, they're probably going to give them a fight next week. So I would look out for that one.
Okay. All right. Well, we hope that you totally come off the DL for next week and join us back in the studio. Get Yeah.
Thinking about it a little bit more, but it got our guys away from that for a little bit. You know, I told our guys before the game, you know, the hard part
is over. That was this week. Now the easy part, just getting out there and playing football, is we got there, and I just think it brought our guys a temporary way to get out of what they've been going through so far this week.
That is really a unique way at looking at it. And then, the game itself was a lot of fun. It was back and forth, back and forth. You're not going to believe this, but I'm calling my game, and I'm keeping an eye on your game because MRA streams, and we were able to see it. But now, your impressions of this MRA football team?
Very well coached, very good football team. They do what they do, and they do it well. You can tell they're very well coached. Coach Davis has those kids believing, and when you play them, that you're going to have to beat them. They're not just gonna roll over. If you're going to beat them, you've got to beat them. And it was a really good challenge for our football team. And we definitely got better. We might not have won the football game, but we definitely got better tonight, playing a quality opponent like we did.
And that's the bottom line on, I would think, for any football coach is, the wins and losses are tough, so that's true. But it's how your team progresses through the year that's really important.
Yes, sir. There's no doubt. You always want to look at film from week to week and say, did we get better? The old saying is, you're either going to get better or you're going to get worse. You're never going to stay the same. So, tonight we got started off slow, but I think our guys, they fought back. They very well could have wanted people to feel sorry for them and laid down and took a pretty good whooping. But, our kids fought back, and I'm really proud of them for facing the adversity they faced this week. It was a tough week of preparation. It was such an abnormal week. I wasn't at practice on Monday. I had to leave practice early on Wednesday. They were trying to prepare with the loss of a young man that they loved and was a valuable teammate to them. And, just the fight that they put up tonight was something that, we did a lot of things wrong. We got a lot of things correct on film, but our guys fighting like that. And that's one thing you can't correct. They're either going to fight or they're not. And our kids showed that they've got some fight in them tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, Ryan, just the fact that, not only did you play the game, but B, you came on the show with us tonight to discuss, football is life learning. And it goes in a lot of different directions, some of them good, some of them not so good. And your kids ran the gamut this week, and I would, from what I saw, they don't have anything to be ashamed of. And I think that when late November and December roll around, you're probably going to see Raleigh roll around.
Well, we hope so. That's our goal. Kind of our saying this year is raise the bar. And my first year, we got to the third round. Last year, we got beat in the South State. Both years we've been beat by the eventual state champions. So our seniors kind of go by the raise the bar. We want to take that next step. And the next step is playing in the first week in December at the University of Southern Mississippi. And I think tonight went a long way to teaching us, not only what we need to do to get better to be able to reach that goal, but to also those life lessons. How do you face adversity? It could have been very easy for me to, when my mom died, to miss a couple of days of school. But, I knew for me personally, I wanted to be around my guys and my coaches. And, that's kind of your support staff if, you're not at home. And, so getting back here the day after was important to me. And I think our guys realized, we faced a tragedy on Wednesday, but sometimes you've got to hold your head up and you've got to get up and you've got to go. And I think that's one thing our guys have learned this week. You can't just lay there and self-pity and feel sorry for yourself. You still got a job to do, even with facing the loss of a teammate. And I think it's brought our guys closer. We lost Ethan Adcock this summer. That event it really brought us closer this summer. I thought we had a really good summer workout. And I just, like you said, it's going to teach life lessons that life's not fair. It's not fun sometimes. And you could very easily throw in the towel, but, you know, that's not what life's about. Life's about fighting. It's about getting up and doing your job. And these kids are, you know, you hate that they're having to learn it at such a young age, but it's going to be something that's going to benefit them in their adult life.
Coach, we appreciate you coming on and talking with us tonight in this very difficult week for you. We're going to keep an eye on Raleigh, and just want to thank you for being a part of our Friday night here at Friday Night Under the Lights.
Well, Russ, I sure appreciate the invitation. You know, our kids, they work hard and they do a great job, and, you know, we're just going to hold our head up and we're going to keep going.
Good enough. We're going to stay in touch with you. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Russ.
All righty. That's going to put a wrap. Man, where did the time go?
One of the faster 2 hours we've ever had here, I think.
Biggest surprise, Ridgeland losing tonight.
Yes. Callaway edged Ridgeland 41-26, and probably one of the other games, the overtime win. Warren Central over Oak Grove 42-41.
As a biggie. Hey, we'll do this again next week. Keep it here at an MPB Think Radio.